Hello out there in video land. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice coming to you live. And we have a fresh from Portugal. Dave Wheels Wheeler, who went there for almost a month and was hanging around Portugal
Over a
causing
month.
trouble. Were you a month?
Over a month. I left July 5th and came back August 7th.
Oh wow! Holy crap! That's a nice vacation, isn't it? Holy jeez. So yeah, well, we got you in for the council review. You made it back.
I did indeed.
Yeah, I did a one or two myself there when you were gone, at least one, and it's good to have you back though, because it's always great to throw stuff off somebody else that's going on with city council and not just have my opinion. Although I value my opinion. How many others do, I don't know, but it's good to have somebody else here with you to do it. So let's get right into it. It's a long agenda, ladies and gentlemen. Long agenda here on Your City, Your Voice at the studios of 4680Q. And we're going to have a tough time getting through it. We're going to rush through some of the fluff and we're going to get to the main items in the agenda. But first, I have to talk about my sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Now, your car's got to run right. You've got about 2 weeks left before Labor Day. And when your kids go back to school, and they're going to want to go somewhere and do stuff before they get back. You're gonna have to take them out for back to school shopping too. You want your car to run good, so you take it to Wild Bill's. He'll do a diagnostic assessment of your car, find out what's wrong. Ken Hunter is right on it. He'll fix it and get you out nice and clean with a great running car, and you won't have any breakdowns in the summer. And speaking of great running cars and nice and clean, he has a body shop. And if you get in a minor fender bender or a major accident, guess what? Ken's right there to help you out. He's going to take care of you, make your car shiny and new, showroom condition, out the door. You're going to be happy. He's going to be happy. I'm going to be happy because you're supporting our sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. You can't beat it. Go talk to Ken Hunter and get your car tuned up. That's all I can say. Get it running right and make it safe. Okay, Davey boy.
I was just checking out the body outside the window there.
Well, there's a lot of bodies out there. Some are on the ground, some are pushing shopping carts, and some aren't too bad. They look in pretty good shape.
Yes, indeed.
And so let's get into this council agenda. You're back from Portugal. You look well rested and like you had a good time.
I did. I sailed from the Azores to Lisbon. That took about a week. I was on a catamaran. I was in the Azores for a couple of days. And then just rented a car and bombed around Portugal for about 3 weeks.
No, perfect. And if you saw, Dave sounded a little bit low. It's because, like a dope, I forgot to turn on his microphone. Not that I don't value your opinion, Dave, but I can really silence you without turning that button on.
I'm fully aware that you have the cutoff switch there.
I have the power. But
it's like a debate, right?
Yeah,
like one of the Biden debates.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Turn that mic off so everybody can't go crazy. But we're going to get right into it here, and I'm going to get through the fluff, like I said. So we start off, of course, with the regular council meeting. We have the Canada, and this time it's by Eliza and Joshua. We have the land acknowledgement, the adoption of last meetings, disclosures of pecuniary interest, mayor's reports and announcements, deputations. We'll do a little bit on that. We're not going to skip that. Reach Niagara, which deals with homelessness and that kind of thing. The executive director is going to be there giving a presentation. So watch that. They do a lot of good things. Reach Niagara, and you want to listen to that. That's at the very first part of the meeting, and then once we get through their presentation, there's going to be somebody speaking, Andrea Giacometti, about trees on private property.
Yeah, but that's canceled for now.
Oh, that's canceled?
Postponed. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it could be. I print off the schedule yesterday so I could get through it. And I never really saw any changes, but you might see them right there. There may be some changes, ladies and gentlemen. Good point, Davey, because sometimes there are changes after I get a hold of it, and I never know what they're going to change or what they're not going to change. They move stuff around on me. They shouldn't do that without consulting me, right?
That's right. I should have told you.
How am I going to do my show if I don't know what's going on?
Yeah, you got a telephone. They know that.
They know that. They know who I think they know who I am, yeah. So let's go to item 6.1, and this is development of a long-term care residence at 6888 Drummond Road, a 4-story, 192 unit long-term care, and the usual objections from residents around there are about traffic, compatibility with the development in the neighborhood, construction noise, flooding, drainage, snow removal, height, encroaching on neighbors. But I think personally, when I read through this and that, number one, we do need long-term care facilities in an aging Niagara. I mean, there's a big wait. We wanted to get my mother into one, and it's all based on need and what other resources they have at hand to deal with their problem. And it took us like over 2 months to get in. They're just not available. And, the front doors of these places are revolving doors because a lot of people are going in. They're not in really great shape, and a lot of them don't come out. So when we get into that, as we age and there's more of us baby boomers, I think this is needed. And all I can tell the residents for all their objections, and I do have some of my own objections, is that a long-term care facility is pretty quiet. And they say about people looking out the windows in their backyard. Well, if you go to a long-term care facility and take a look at the people in there, there's not a lot of them looking out windows in your backyard. Believe me.
If they do, they can't see that far.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like either they're so ill, they're in bed a lot of the time, or in wheelchairs, they can't see above the windowsill, and also, they have going blind, a lot of them. So they have other problems. So I don't think you have to worry about that. And it's a quiet place. I mean, you just have people coming in to visit and that kind of thing. You might have some ambulatory services bringing people in and out from the hospital or going out, but they don't have their horns blaring or anything like that. They're not going to bother you. The only concern I have, of course, is traffic. You got 195 units there, 192 units. There's going to be traffic, more traffic added to that area in the corner of Drummond and Dunn is already very, very busy as usual. You have a lot of plazas and businesses there. So that would be my only concern. But if a traffic study's done and it proves to be okay, then what the heck? What do you think, Davey?
Well, I don't think long-term care facilities have a whole lot of traffic. The residents there don't. If they have a car, they use it rarely. And as my mother did, she had a car, but she didn't even use it before I sold it. So
there you go.
So there you go. I don't think there'd be that much in the way of traffic.
Yeah, I can see this being okayed, and I think it's needed in Niagara Falls.
You might have a problem if people are worried about windows. There might be more of a problem of somebody with dementia flashing you or something up there, something like that. But other than that, no, I don't think
that's a good possibility. But but it's nothing you'd want to look at anyway. So so don't be out with your binoculars looking to see some 25-year-old getting ready to take a shower or something, you guys down in that neighborhood there.
Some people are into that sort of thing.
I guess. You never know. This isn't Portugal. Anyway, 6.1, that's that. Now, 6.2 is another development at the corner of St. Paul and it would be St. Paul and Mountain Road at Eagle Valley. A 15 and 19-story apartments, 295 units. And there's an amendment to increase the height and density. And I think there was a previous application for that corner.
Yes, there was.
And
we discussed it.
Yeah, we did. Exactly. If my memory serves me well. And also, they're just looking to amend what they proposed before to make it a little bit taller and add more units. Parking is 1.6 per unit. And it seems low to me in that area because there's not a lot of public transportation available at that corner. Would you say that 1.6?
But 1.6 is the standard, and they're not reducing it, which is a big deal.
1.40 is the standard, and they want to come in at 1.26.
2.6?
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought you said 1.6. No, 1.6. You got to go 1.6. I would say, definitely, and for the reasons why you said.
Yeah, it's just more people have more cars and everything else. Now, noise as construction's going on. I mean, there's another one going kitty corner to it on the corner of St. Paul and Mountain Road. That would be the southwest corner. Everybody's complaining about that. And they're saying there's going to be a lot of noise and compacting, machines pounding down and traffic's going to increase in that area. And you know what? They've got a good point because I went down towards Niagara Lake to one of the fruit farms to get some peaches and that
Yeah.
on the weekend, and it was crazy. That's four-way stop at St. David's, I should say, on York Road and Creek Road was backed up. Oh God, 20 cars, and they need stoplights. I think they're going to put a roundabout there, but they need something because that area right there is whacked. It's getting really busy with the
Well,
building.
it can be. Yesterday, though, I came and there was hardly a car there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So it just depends on time of day and that kind of
guess
thing,
so,
right?
yeah.
I was cursing that I went down there. I should have known better, right, on Saturday and in the tourist season. But it was very, very busy when I went down, and with all the new building at the bottom of the hill there, wow, they put a lot of houses. You wouldn't even recognize it if you went by 5 years ago and then went by today. You know?
I worked in that canning factory. I know what you mean. There was nothing down there.
No.
It was empty fields. And that's just kind of a sad thing because that's prime real estate. You know, that's prime
Farmland.
agricultural real estate.
Yeah. So that's the usual concerns, noise, traffic, blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing. But I got an interesting message from Ross Smith. You probably know Ross Smith. You might not know him by name, but he's involved in a lot of stuff as far as watching city council, kind of like us.
Can you,
He's like,
did you have a nickname and can you say it over there?
No, no, he's just a guy, maybe my height, and an older gentleman, nice guy, an older gentleman, smart guy, thin. If you saw him, you'd probably know him. You see him at a lot of these things, right? He's not a very loud guy, but he knows what he's talking about. But
Okay, what did he say?
He sent me this. I thought it was very interesting. I think he sent it to maybe a couple city councilors. And I'm going to read it right off of here. So don't mind me, right? I can read. It says 2334 St. Paul for Tuesday's meeting. 295 units with an exclamation mark. A small city? At the neighborhood meeting I attended, 5 residents, 4 from over the road to a site, to the site plus me, so across the street. After retiring, I worked at the golf course at Eagle Valley, ground supervisor for 9 years. The fill put in to ostensibly allow the 10th floor of the last planned development to be able to see Lake Ontario has water issuing from its north side. There used to be water coming up slowly in that area. That meeting, the presenter said it can't be capped, but there was no plan about it, how they were going to do it without it being able to be capped. The water, it must be groundwater seeping through.
It means you're going to get sinkage. You're going to get unstable foundations.
Well, you know, Ross has got a point here, and I never thought about it until he mentioned it. Because when we were kids, right at that corner there was a big pond that we used to go swimming in Eagle Valley. It was a quarry then, right?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Did you ever go swimming down there?
I may have. I can't remember.
Yeah, we did. And the only answer I got was that it may be necessary to remove some of the fill to access the source. That's what they're telling Ross when he asked. Associated with this is how a road can be built to access Mountain Road, as the face is quite steep, unless it's a ramp. Using Thundering Waters as an example, I have asked about who is monitoring the 9-meter buffer, only 9 meters, that was agreed upon at the planning stage at one location to give the developer more free rein. I can get no answer. So in this case, I should just leave it to the experts? And that was a question.
Rhetorical question.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks to Ross for his great insight into this development. And hopefully this is addressed at the meeting, and when the city council planners get up and give their talk, and also the developers will get up and give a speech on this. I guess we'll see at the meeting tomorrow night. But thank you, Ross, for getting involved and giving me that message. And you have some valid concerns because, like I say, there's a spring at the bottom of that hill that runs naturally. There's a lot of groundwater coming through there. And like Dave said, right? What happens when you get groundwater running underneath the
foundations and you get sinkholes?
Yeah.
The
collapses.
Probably the only thing that would mitigate that is pile drivers. You'd have to drive piles really deep into the ground and then use that as your foundation.
Yeah, get through the water table?
Yeah. You drive the piles right down deep until you get to a very solid rock. And then after that, you build your foundation based on that. But I think it's the only way.
Well, the funny part of all this is that if you remember the meetings that we talked about before, is that the people from across the street were questioning the big mess over there. There's all plastic and everything that from this that never got developed, and now they're going to develop it. So that'll get rid of the plastic in that, I guess. If you keep hearing my microphone get hit, I keep hitting it on the side of this microphone. So
Yeah.
don't worry about it. We're marked safe from Portugal over here. Item number 7 is City Council. What are we? 6-2. We had 6-2 go by. Item number.
Just to go back to the other one. Just as the CN rail line has put up some sort of objections, if you noticed in one of the letters. Yeah, they say they're 300 meters from the rail line.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And they have to. There are new regulations with the building close to the rail lines, so they want some kind of information of what you're going to do and how are you going to oblige those new regulations.
Yeah, with the trains going by, they're not that far really. They're maybe what
they claim
feet?
within. Well, that would be it. They say 300 meters. They say they're within 300 meters.
Yeah, so something like that.
Yeah.
It's been told, recommended they approve it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I was lost for words for a second, like Joe Biden. But it's been recommended that they approve it, and by staff. So we'll see what they do with it. It's an interesting thing. I think they'll approve it myself, but
yeah, but they should look into what Mr. Smith has pointed out.
I think that should be something they discuss with the developer for sure and the city planner. And I would imagine he has mailed it to some councilors, and they will bring it up.
Yeah, like I say, if they drive piles down deep enough, maybe that will be the solution. But you're in a crumbly sort of, it's on an incline. That's another factor that they brought up. So
interesting. Number 7, beer, pizza, wings. It's in camera again. We go, and yum yum. It's yum yum, yum yum.
Party time at council.
8.1 at your service in Niagara. I mean, it's, to me, I read this. It's a scheme called At Your Service. A lot of taxpayers' dollars for good old-fashioned courtesy and response. Seriously, folks, if people would answer their phones and reply to emails, none of this would be needed. The problems with the city come after hours. That's when it's hard to get a problem resolved. The CRM here they're talking about, this thing isn't going to help any. Does this address that? No. It's all just a lot of baloney and another waste of taxpayer dollars and another crappy way to PO residents when everyone passes the buck. I don't see what this is going to do. If people pick up the phones, answer them, get you to the right department, and maybe they need a call center with the number of people and a lot of things going on in the city, rather than having the front desk at City Hall answer it and trying to move you around, right? It just they need better response time to people calling and answering. And this CRM thing is just I don't know. I just see it as an ongoing waste of money. That's just me. I might be wrong. The Penguin came up with this idea probably. And
if he's looking for efficiencies and longer term savings, it might be a good thing. If he's according to the write up on that, there was a lot of manual responses. In other words, nobody knows exactly where to go. So you have to do this and have to do that. And, I'll switch you to this person. I'll switch you to that person. And an hour later, you get back to the first person again. So I think probably something like that, if you can get immediate information and you can get immediate help to the right persons, that would save staff a lot of money and time. I think that's probably why this is brought up. Whether it's worth it or not, we'll have to see what the council says about that.
Well, I think the final judgment of whether it's worth it or not will be: are response times better? Are people happier when they call City Hall? It'll be like real time results, like how it works. Because right now you hear a lot of people complaining. I call City Hall. They shift me around to different departments. Nobody calls me back. I send emails. and nobody emails me back, and it's just it's just customer service. It seems to me is just lacking. And it
Yeah,
could be overwork or whatever because there might be one person answering the phone, right?
could be communications problems. You get somebody say, "I got a bigger tree. It's going to squish in my house. It's going to break it down." And they don't know what they're saying.
I think that's an Italian accent, not a Portuguese accent.
They're similar.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see, I guess, when the Institute, they're going to do it for sure, and they're going to spend money on it. We'll see if it produces better results, quicker response times. Maybe with the CRM, customer management, your name goes in there, and they write notes about what you called in about. That's the good thing about customer resource management is one thing. Customer service like this, they can pull up your name and see what you called in before, and actually whoever maybe is going to deal with it, it gets entered in there as well, and then they can tell you when you call them what's going on, because you call the girl at the front desk and she refers you to say
Finance or something.
yeah, wherever, and then that's it for her. She really can't give you any information.
That's right. She can't. No, but she should be able to forward you by listening to you, forward you to the right department right away.
Yeah.
And I imagine if they're going to record and keep on file what you phoned about, they may have a code like for instance, P,
Hang
pain
up.
in the ass.
P, hang up. H, hang up. But at least they'll have it there. She can pull your name up and say, "Oh yeah, I saw you made the complaint on October 5th. We forwarded it to the department on October 5th. The reply back from the department was this.
Reply back was, no, the trees are not going to squish your house."
Yeah. But it'll be easier for somebody answering the phone to be able to know what the results were and what happened with it. It takes more time for staff to be able to enter all this stuff because a CRM is only as good as the information in it. If that's what they're thinking of, I'm not sure. But we'll see what happens. If you feel better calling in less complaints, that's a good thing. 8.3, let's see, 8.2, yeah, is the
Grassy Brook.
Grassy Brook. Yeah,
Phase 2.
Yeah, Grassy Brook. Well, they want to develop one. They've turned that down, that development already. And the other one is about the other part of Grassy Brook, which is where the water treatment plant is going to be, the pollution plant, if they want to call it. That's what we called it in the old days, right? And that's going to be out there. And then I guess just what they're going to be doing with the rest of that land. I know to the east, I think it was east on the map, it's going to be developed. They're looking for housing in there and that. They just got to get the plan right with the developer. And I think that was Angelo Butera. That's the old, I think, King Waldorf Oakland's thing there.
But it's also for employable land. And that's a big part of it. 3,500 additional industrial jobs expected by 2051. I don't know why 2051. But 2051, that's what they figure. So 3,500. So they have to have place for employable land, place to put the industry, factories, whatever it is.
Yeah, so, and it that kind of makes sense there because the other part of the industrial park is like across the Lions Creek Road, I think, Stanley Avenue area, that area, right?
Well, right beside the sewage treatment plant. It's not exactly prime real estate.
Well, not for
residential.
Yeah, really. They found that out down on Stanley Avenue, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, that's developed Grassy Brook. Take a look at it, 8.2. Read through it and see what you think. That's all I can tell you. It's a big to do, but we've really heard this all before, and they're just bringing it to the forefront again. And of course, if you talk to Mike Cushman or Gary Wilkins, you'll know that a lot of that land is contaminated land.
How about that?
And they'll tell you the story on that. So. I don't know if anybody will mention that or what they're going to do when they talk about this. I don't know what they're going to say.
I don't know. They're going to get the three monkey thing going on. See nothing, hear nothing, speak nothing.
Well, that could be.
Yeah, I think so.
That seems to happen a lot. But we'll see what the discussion's all about. Now, 8.3 is the preliminary budget projection.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Here comes the wallet biopsy. So anyway, here's where your wallet biopsy happens. Council requests staff to prepare a budget options ranging from 3.9% to 6% increase. and a 1% capital budget increase. And we know how they work. Capital budgets in December, November, December. November 26th, I think, is the meeting. And then they move on to the operations budget. And the operations budget is the 3.9 to 6%. We got 7.9 in 2023, 3.9 in 2024. Now they're looking for 6%. I don't understand why they for us, at least to make us feel good, they don't start at zero. We're starting at zero. That's your goal, zero. And we're gonna, if we have to add a little bit more, well, we have to. But at least start us at zero. Why do they start us at 6%?
So they can come down to 3.9.
Yeah, and then we feel good.
Yeah. Oh wow. It could have been 6.
I agree.
It could have been 6.
And here's the 8.72 from the region. And another 4% from the city. I mean, your taxes are going to go up another couple $100 or whatever, right?
Well, if you noticed, then throughout this agenda, everything that you come upon is an ask for more money than was regulated for it previously. So obviously, whatever their plans previous weren't enough, because everything right from Chippewa to paving a road, they need more, right? The parking lot for the municipal workers, Chippewa, it's all increased, right? This was what it was. We need 20,000 more or 90,000 more, something like that. So, yeah, they're going to ask for money.
Well, let me leave this with you, everybody. While you're watching this, tomorrow at 1:00, the meeting starts. Think of this. We saved $1.3 million on the hospital fund because we used to pay that into the hospital fund. We don't do that anymore. We saved $7.5 million on transit. We got about $40 to $50 million from the sale of Niagara Regional Broadband to Cogeco in January, which we haven't seen any numbers for yet. So I'm adding that up. That's probably about $60 million there when it's all said and done. And we also saved, well, we didn't save. City Council underestimated the casino revenue by about $5.5 million in 2023, and this year it's going to be probably about $8 million. So when you add it all up, there's $70 million floating around. Think about that when you hear them talking about we need more money, we have to charge you more. They have $70 million they never had to spend last year.
We won't mention this again if we get a piece of that $70 million.
Yeah, that's right. 10% will do me just fine. That's $7 million. I'll take a boat to Portugal and you'll never see me again. But think about that when they're talking about.
Well, I've got thrown out of Portugal. I have to figure out another place.
Brazil, maybe. Chick and get married and just live there.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. But, think about that when they're talking about money and about how much they need to operate the city and that. There's $70 million floating around by my estimation. And I've said it for the last 3 months. Nobody's corrected me yet, so I don't know if I'm wrong or right, but nobody has said I'm wrong. They should be letting us know, there's a lot of money sitting around. Why don't we get a 10% discount this year? Anybody ever mention that or think of that?
No. I don't think they ever did.
Budget time just makes me mad because, there's a lot of money floating around this city. And I know there's a lot of, we're going to go through some stuff here, wants versus needs. And
if you ask for that, like zero or even a bonus, like they throw garlands of garlic around you and put a crucifix around you.
You're going to get reelected next election if you do that.
Yeah, with the other councilors.
Did I say that? But anyway, that's that. So 8.3, the budget's going to come down. It's all laid out there. Go to niagarafalls.ca, council agenda for August 13th, and you will see the paperwork and see what they got and what they're doing and why they're raising it. They're going to go through a big song and dance, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on when we get to some of the presentations, and about how they throw the fear of God into you. We gonna cut services. You're not gonna have parks and swimming pools and movie stars. You're not gonna have anything. We're gonna be worse than we already are.
We'll have to sell the falls.
Yeah, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. There's lots of money floating around. Believe me, these guys, and I've seen them pull $10 million out of their hat of money they never had to put in the capital budget. As a matter of fact, this meeting, there's $350,000 they never had. That's why they raised our taxes that they found to do stuff. Oh yeah, we're going to adjust the capital budget by 100,000, 50,000, 90,000. Where's this money coming from? They never had it. That's why they raised our taxes. So we'll see what they say about that. Watch that part of the meeting, 8.3. It's going to be very, very interesting. 8.4, Davey, emergency preparedness.
Oh, yes.
$1 million generator, 1.1 million, I think, to be at the McBain Center, so that if the lights go out, they can keep all systems running in an emergency. Now, I'm going to let you talk about this. But
wait a minute, I don't think we should go back to the preliminary because they did a lot. Isn't that where they did a lot for the firefighters, or is that coming up?
I had it coming up.
Oh, okay.
I had it coming up, but 8 point is 8 point. So the firefighters are 8.10 or something.
Oh, okay. I thought it was part of the
something like that, 8 point something. But
okay.
But I might be out of order though, because if they change the agenda, I'm out of order. But either way,
we're looking for change. So
emergency preparedness. Let me ask you a question. You lived here all your life, right?
Yep.
Have you ever seen this city shut down and emergency shelters or anything needed in the 100 years you've lived here? Have you ever seen or heard of this, that we are needed some kind of emergency shelter because of some kind of a disaster?
I'm 105, not just 100. No, I know. I see their point. Remember the blizzard of 77?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people without electricity, without heat. What if there is a massive storm?
So let me ask you this.
It's not inconceivable there would be a terrorist attack too.
Let me ask you this though. In the blizzard of 77, how would they get to the emergency shelter?
Well, they had the reservists out, the military reservists out. Yeah.
In Niagara Falls?
All over the Niagara region. In fact, I know one guy.
Wow.
They found a body or two in their cars, right? So it was a grisly event. In fact, they had to evacuate a school to take them to some place where it was warm. So there is a possibility here that you would need it. You would need something like that.
So we're rolling $1 million on that. We're going to need it. Maybe.
Well, they're just asking for a generator. I don't know how much that generator.
1.1 million.
1.1 million. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it would have to. And there's another thing they don't mention here is if you're going to have a generator like that, you're going to have an emergency fuel supply. It's no good without the fuel. So if you have, let's say, another blizzard of 77,
you need diesel.
Where are you going to get it?
Or natural gas.
So you have to hold on to it there, which means you have to use part of it and replace part of it. So that's going to be the cycle of maintenance that's added to this. Because that fuel supply, you cannot just leave it there. You have to take some of it out, put some more in, and so on, because you can't leave old fuel there. It's bad for the machinery. So if it even works. So that's part of something that's not brought up here.
A lot of ongoing maintenance. I know people who have Generacs for their house, and they're $10,000 for 1,000 square foot house to run the fridge and lights and everything. But I mean, a lot of people, when they had problems in Fort Erie, they threw the generator out. It didn't work. It was either covered in snow, so it wouldn't work, or it just didn't work because it hadn't ever been run except for the time they tried to turn it on.
Oh God, you got to use it about at least twice a year. Just start up, see how it runs.
Yeah, you gotta.
Old fuel too is another thing. They probably put old fuel in it and left that fuel in for 5 years.
Yeah,
and expect the thing to run. So I would say that there is probably a need for something like this.
Well, the only reason I could figure in Niagara Falls that they would need this and spend $1 million on it is because we have these dangerous trains running through the city, and if one ever derailed with dangerous chemicals on it and they go through the middle of the city, you would have to evacuate a couple kilometers around this thing. And I'm just going by when Mancuso Chemicals had the accident on the QEW, they evacuated 2 kilometers around the zone where it crashed on the QEW.
Well, the whole city of Mississauga had to be evacuated. If you remember, in 1980, 79 or 80, I can't remember.
Yes, I remember that. So I could see perhaps that happening, like in Palestine, Ohio.
Yes.
Right? You had that kind of thing. Other than that, though, we don't get tornadoes, we don't get hurricanes. We get the odd blizzard, a day. That was the blizzard, once in a lifetime blizzard of 77. But other than that, we really don't get earthquakes, and like nothing that would destroy a city like Los Angeles. We're not in Tornado Alley. We're not in the way of hurricanes. So
It is a big building, and it can take a lot of people. You take something that happens to the region. You've got Fort Erie and some of these other little small towns that might need a place to come. Our own people. I think it's a good idea. I think it's just due diligence, really.
Like Boy Scouts, be prepared.
Be prepared, yeah.
Okay. 8.5. Now they waived this is a weird one. They've waived the development fees that they raised in May. They waived them from now until September of 2025. They were going to raise them again in September of 2024. They've waived that. Now they're not going to raise them till September 2025. Right?
And if you read that, it sounds like they just won't want to be bothered. Kind of that. I think that's the underlying thing. Well, we already did it. We don't want to do it again.
Well, I just figure one of their friends is going to build something big, and they just said, "Well, come on, Jimmy, give us a break. We don't want to pay these development fees. Another increase this year. Can't you just we'll put it off for a year?
Yeah, we'll put it off. We'll say, we just did it, so we don't have to do it again."
But I don't understand why they passed it in May and did it, and then they're going to just change everything in September.
Yeah, that's part of the rationale for not increasing it.
Yeah, pretty
at the proper time.
Pretty weird. 8.6 is surplus lands, and these are laneways and that kind of thing. And one's over in Silvertown, and the other one's, I don't know where the heck it is. Somewhere over Leader Lane in Silvertown, Victoria Avenue, Lane.
Yeah, I just looked at it when I came here. Just passed by it. And there's Atchison Road, and running parallel to Victoria is Atchison, one block east of Victoria. So east of Victoria, west of Atchison, north of Ferguson, and south of Leader Lane. So I went around that block, and there is vacant land there, which is, I assume, they're talking about.
Yeah, these laneways, and what they're going to do is split it right down the middle and sell it, one half of it, or give it to the property owners on one side, and the other half is going to go to the property owners on the other side to make their property just a little bit longer. They're just little laneways. You'll see them over by River Road that run behind some of those streets.
Yeah, River Lane used to run right behind my house.
Yeah, there you go.
It was beautiful. I had a driveway in the back and the front.
Well, a lot of the people use it as access to their homes because rather than the main River Road, which is a pain to get in and out of. So they're selling that. They're going to sell those and get rid of them because why bother keeping them? So that's not a big deal. They're going to say yes to that. And let's see, surplus lands 8.7. Oh boy, here we go. MF Kerr pickleball facility. I'm going to spend we'll be spending $500,000 on this pickleball facilities at Kerr Park off Cynics Avenue there. And they want a capital budget amendment of $77,000. See, they found $77,000.
I told you. When you look through this thing, it's always an increase of this is what we scared. This is what we budgeted for, but we need more.
Yeah, and it's going to be funded by the OLG Reserve, which I don't know how much is in the OLG Reserve. I got to say, there's at least 10 to 12 million in there because they underestimated how much we're going to get from them for the last 2 years by 10 or 12 million. So that's where it's coming from. It just makes me it POs me a little bit because when the junior A team, which I figure more people play hockey, kids play hockey and that kind of thing than pickleball, they wouldn't give them the $160,000 they're asking for, but they'll drop $500,000 on pickleball courts. So
I don't know. How did our Olympic pickleball team do? I don't know.
The Olympics I never watched, and the breakdancing put the icing on the cake for me. Breakdancing in Olympic sport. Are you kidding me?
Pickleball's coming to the Olympics.
Oh, I guess it has to be. I found out about that in Mexico probably 7 years ago. It was a big thing. These guys were playing pickleball. And I never even heard of it, to be honest with you, before that. They're on tennis courts playing pickleball.
I heard about it a lot, but I kind of couldn't figure out how they got its name until I heard some dog named Pickle used to chase the ball or something when they first started it.
Well, it reminds me of bocce ball. Everybody was playing bocce ball 15 years ago. They built courts all over the city. Now the courts are all overgrown and they're pieces of junk. I think they finally revamped the one on Carolyn Street there on that Pettit Avenue, Carolyn area. But yeah, that was the big fad. Everybody had to have bocce courts. Then 5 years later, the fad ended, and that was the end of that. So we'll see how this works out.
You can still do lawn bowling at the badminton club.
Yes.
That's still going. It's been going for years and years. So it's not exactly bocce ball, but it's similar.
Similar. 8.7 was pickleball. 8.8 is Main Street, the contract to reconstruct Main Street. And we remember what a schmozzle that was in the first part of it when the Seaway construction screwed everything up. They had to call Rankin in to finish. And now Baccio construction is going to be doing the second part about it. But they need, it looks like they have to raise the purchase order from 88,500 to 197,000 plus taxes.
More than 100,000 more.
Yeah, we found the money though. No,
it was there. It was there somewhere. I don't know where we found it. We found it.
And hopefully Baccio Constructions doesn't Baccio it all up because they screwed up with Seaway.
Well, it doesn't say RV Anderson Associates Limited Inspection.
They're the consultants. Oh, this is only the consultants.
Yeah.
This is only the consultants. I think the main cost of all this is going to be like, let's see, 1.1 million.
Oh boy.
1.1 million. So that's just the engineering, about 400,000. The whole project is going to be 1.1 million. Let's see. About 1.1 million. So there you go. I mean, they found extra money this year, probably $10 million city council, including the 6.5 million for the airstrip they bought for industrial lands out on Sodom Road. That's money that we didn't have. That's why our taxes went up. They found 10 million.
I think they're just finding places to spend it.
I think these are they're hiding a lot of stuff from us. And I'm going to do my second commercial for Hamilton Glowstone Lighting for our sponsors. We have to support our sponsors. And if you've ever been in a neighborhood and saw a house that's lit up beautifully, but you don't really see the cords or any of that stuff, that's Hamilton Glowstone Lighting's work. They're the leader in professional track lighting, outdoor permanent track lighting for your home or business for that matter. They put them up there. They're built in zones, so you can have different colors in every zone. Did that guy just walk by with a purple head? Yes. Purple hair in his head?
Yes, he had purple head.
But anyway, I got the story.
It's all natural.
As a matter of fact, it might be lit up by glowstone lighting because it was that bright. But yeah, you're going to call them in. They're going to come in. They're going to put up track lighting, different zones. You can change colors right on your phone. Turn them off, turn them on, change colors, do whatever you want. Timer, everything. And you can celebrate every holiday. Red and green for Christmas, red and white for Canada Day, green St. Patrick's Day, orange Halloween, purple for Prince's birthday. It doesn't matter. You can put it any color you want, whenever you want. It's all sealed. They're all sealed against dust and moisture. Lifetime warranty on these things. That's how much confidence they have in their product. And there's financing available if you want to really Griswold your house, but you don't have the cash to plop down. Hey, finance it. Pay something every month. And,
what if you want to Griswold your head like that guy? Will they do it for you?
That or a hair salon. But Hamilton Glowstone Lighting is the place to call. Who do you call? You call Colin Buckborough. He is the owner, and he's at 289-969-1797. He's going to come down, give you a free estimate, and do the work for you professionally. If you didn't get that number, I'll repeat it. 289-969-1797. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. And if you want to see pictures of their work, go to their gallery on glowstonelighting.com. And that's glowstonelighting.com. Just like it sounds. You'll see some beautiful pictures, and you're going to make your house safe. You're going to make your house valuable. It adds value to your house. It's so nice. Anyway, tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, and we move on to item number 8 10. And that's Ferry Street. Now this is interesting. Apparently, the site builder, the initial one, has gone broke.
How about that?
It's in receivership. Now, why didn't we know about this? The city found out in October. We've been sitting here wondering what's happened. We heard Rocca, the developer, the agent for the developer, tell us it's just water. They got to wait. They got to pump the water out. So we have this 50-foot hole that's unsafe sitting there, and nobody lets us know, the taxpayers who have to put up with this, that these guys went into receivership. So now, as part of the new person buying it and the receivership's trying to sell it, they need the okay to get the grant funds that we have because it's old Drummondville, and we do provide grants from the city and the region for building in these historic areas. And they want to make sure that it's transferable, right? So they have to know by October 1st. So city council is going to have to come up with a yes or no on this.
What's this business about 131,000? Is that up for us to pay?
What is it, 131,000?
Yeah, this is the council approve a 2024 capital budget amendment in the amount of $131,000 inclusive of non-recoverable HST funded from development charges.
Is that for the same item?
Lions Parkway?
No, we're doing the Ferry Street bill.
Oh, damn it.
By Dairy Queen. You know that one by Dairy Queen, the big hole?
The historic.
Yes,
okay,
Drummondville, historic Drummondville. Yeah.
Okay.
So the next one, we're going to talk about that. I got that down too.
That was the one before that.
That's part of my ciphering. 131,000. So anyway, we'll see what's going to happen. But I'm kind of we talk about transparency and everything else, and nobody knew about this. They never announced that the place was in receivership. I never heard about it anyway, and I'm pretty tuned into this stuff. I try to be, but I never heard about this from anybody. And we're sitting here wondering what's happening with that property. And Tony Baldinelli is talking about unsafe property, and they put fencing up, and they're passing bylaws about unsafe property and builds that never went through, and we're all wondering. And all of a sudden, we found out they went into receivership. So the grant is calculated to be about 11 million over 10 years. So about $1 million a year. So it's substantial, this grant. Now we got to see what the city council is going to say. Yes, we'll pass it on because or no, that was the deal we made with the other builder. Now you've got to make your own deal here. Right? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this. Interesting one. But now we know. Now we know as taxpayers what happened to this place in receivership. And a new company is going to start building there, which is good news, by the way. It's good news that they're going to finish it, the very same build that they were talking about before. Okay, item 8.12. Did I miss anything, Dave? 8.11. We're moving right along here.
We have to go back one if you want to get to the Lions
8.9. Okay, we missed 8.9. Okay, that's the Lion Parkway infrastructure extension.
8.10 on this one.
Yeah, see, they screwed me up here. They screwed me up. But anyway, the Lions Creek, if you remember.
They did it on purpose.
If you remember, we talked about this.
Yes.
Remember, they're going to build a new build, and we have to kind of provide the infrastructure up to a certain point.
Yes, and they're going to take it over after that.
Yes. So this is what that's all about. It's been discussed before. It's $131,000 over what they thought it was going to be.
Of course.
So we're starting to add this up. 131,000, 30,000, 20,000.
77,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. See, they find this money when they need it. But anyway, that was discussed before, so this is nothing new. It's just a matter of saying that they want to do it, they're going to do it, and just this cost, and basically, it's gonna get done. It's gonna get done. So, we need that to be able to build that subdivision in there. So cost sharing agreement, which we've already done, approve a 20 capital budget amendment. That's what they want. So yeah,
131,000. They'll get it out of petty cash.
Well, I mean, just take it out of the mayor's pocket. Jimmy, come on.
You stick your hand in there. I don't know what else you'll find.
Well, what you're going to find is the mousetrap on the end of your fingers. He's probably got it rigged, this pocket. Put your hand in there. A set mousetrap like in the cartoons. Oh, you're shaking your hand like, I got a
Three Stooges type thing.
Yeah. 8.11 Arts and Culture Wall of Fame inductees. Congratulations to Brighton Rock, Evergone, and Denise Matthews Vanity. We all know who she was, Prince's girlfriend and a recording artist and everything else. Vanity. She's passed away now, of course, a few years ago, but we all knew her. Brighton Rock was a big name in band circles in Niagara Falls. Evergone, I have no idea who that is, but congratulations to them for.
I was going to say, isn't that the boat that got stuck in the Suez moment? That was Evergreen.
Yeah, that was Evergreen, the one that turned sideways. That's the ones that built that thing in Welland that collapsed. The same Chinese company. So anyway, congratulations to them, and they're going to approve it, of course. I mean, who would not approve this? Development and Housing Report. 8.12. Is it 8.12 on yours?
8.13.
Okay, so they added something that I missed here. I don't know. But Housing Report, it's interesting. The estimated, now get this, and I said this many times on my show. The estimated population for Niagara Falls for the end of 2023 is 105,552. Now they're talking about 145,000 by 2051. And I said that's going to happen probably by 2030, 2035. And the way they're bringing people in is it. Now that's an increase of 11,137 from the 2021 census. I know that 11,000 babies haven't been born in Niagara Falls in the last 2 years.
All imports, my friend. Well, people moving here.
Exactly. So the way they're moving in 4,000 a year, it's an 11.7% increase in population, and we wonder why the city's a mess. With more homeless on the streets, we can't build residences fast enough to accommodate this kind of growth. Estimates that Niagara would reach 151 by 2051, and I think they're going to reach it within 10 years or 15 years rather than that. It's an aggressive schedule we're following, importing all these people. So
it could, but what's going to hold them? There's only so much. Like, for instance, right now, you mentioned Portugal, the whole Iberian Peninsula, Portugal and Spain, they're getting angry at tourism, not tourists, but tourism, because tourism is making everything cost more. So people are buying up properties and everything like that. So they're not really increasing the population. What they're doing is buying properties, making them tourist places, and that increases the cost of housing for everyone else.
Exactly.
And so I think the same thing. We're suffering under the same thing. I think we have a lot of people from outside the area coming in and buying property, sometimes just holding on to it, and other times renting it. So I think that's driving property prices up, and there may be a backlash. Who knows? Like there is in the Iberian Peninsula.
No, there could be. I mean, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. It's an interesting report, and I think that when we see it, we have to say this is astounding growth, and we're not ready for this. I don't think in Niagara, not with the housing that we have, not with a lot of different parameters, infrastructure and that kind of thing. To have that many people in 10 or 15 years.
Well, I'd like to turn back to that apartments that is on St. Paul Street there. How much of that is going to be deemed affordable? And when I read about it, it said 37 units or something that will be moderately for a moderate income. So they don't define these terms.
No.
Yeah, you can find definitions on the region or whatever, but in these documents, they are not defined. And council is not saying, what do you mean by moderate income? What is the range of moderate income? So I just thought I'd do that aside.
Well, that's true. And you're right. And I think Lori Lococo one time, or one of the counselors, asked about, what do they figure affordable housing is? And the guy said, an income of $80,000 per year, family income of $80,000 a year. I don't know if that's enough.
No, not really. If you look at the amount of money that's coming in, if you have a 2-income home, you might get 90,000, maybe.
In this area, for sure.
And there's a range, and there's a range of what they call moderate. This goes for a single person from 50 to 60 and change, low 60s. So that's not a whole lot. And and if they're going to charge 1/3 of what a modern income is, call it $60,000, that would be $20,000 for the year. I doubt it. I doubt they're going to go that low.
Yeah, that's pretty weird, to say the least. Item 813 now might be different on your thing there, and it's called looking for change.
I don't have that. I have development and housing report. That was mine. So looking for change, I do have it. I read about it.
And
Just gotta
looking
find
for
it.
change, you know what that means? That the title is very interesting. That it was chosen because City Council instructed the Penguin, Jason Burgess, our CAO, to find $1 million to take off next year's budget of savings on next year's budget.
That's right.
And then he does this report looking for change. So he's looking for small change, right? Nickels, dimes, and quarters. And that's basically what he gives us in here. If you read this report, you should all read it. His take on saving $1 million that the council demanded for 2025 budget. This is his places where you can save money. And of course, it's the same old rhetoric. We got to cut services, cut this, cut that. They never talk about cutting staff or cutting anything, or these sweetheart union deals that all the city workers and the firefighters have and everything.
Yeah, he does talk about that, though. He does.
Well, there's a whole thing on the firefighters.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty important one.
Well, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
But right now, it's just about what he thinks where they can cut to save this money. And they're like $10,000 here, $2,000, $5,000. And it's about services like fees, upping fees and stuff. You know, the regular stuff that they always try to make look like it's important, but it really isn't, because there's a lot of money being spent outside of services and that.
Were these based on the call from the city for people to submit suggestions? Or
well, I think this is what Jason Burgess came up with, cuts here and there to try to save money for the city. But if you look at them, they're pretty meager. I mean, really, you look at it and go, we're going to cut $5,000 from this thing, and for kids skating at the arena or something. It's so small. I mean, these guys are blowing $500,000 on pickleball courts, and they're going to squeeze kids for $5,000. It just kind of seems like one of these fear mongering.
Why not? They're they're smaller than you. You can take them for the money.
Yeah, we could have saved $250,000 by just moving the firefighters dispatch to St. Catharines, which probably wouldn't have been a big deal. It would have worked better. But no, City Council didn't want to do that because you can't touch the firefighters. They're sacrosanct, and the union workers of the city are sacrosanct, right? And
some are more sacrosanct than others.
The firefighters are. The report's a waste of time. It's saying the obvious. You want tax savings, we cut services. That's what they've been saying for years. That's his always thing. And it's not innovative or out-of-the-box thinking, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for to come up with somewhere to save money outside of this fear-mongering of cutting services. We're not going to cut the soccer field, so your kids got to play in hay fields. That kind of thing. We need to change our council and staff level if we're going to tackle this problem seriously, like really saving money for the citizens of Niagara Falls. But like Ralph Panucci said, we don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. And it isn't for, taking $2,000 away from kids from skating or something. That's not where the problem lies. Or a $35 charge for people to park that Jimmy wants for parking, and $35 once a year fee or something. These are just smoke and mirrors. There's way more they can cut, but I don't think they have the oomph to do it. You got to have the oomph.
Looks like we need a new casino, so we'll get some $5 more million or something.
Yeah, we need. Yeah. Well, it's like that guy that tried the pole vaulting and his junk got caught in the bar and knocked it off, and he lost. He should have tucked his junk. Like, that's the way you do it. Sometimes you got to tuck your junk to win, and City Council's got to tuck all the junk and to win, right? That's the way it is. Sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy being superstar City Council. It isn't easy. You got to do stuff.
If I hear that during the meeting, I'm going to know where that came from.
Yeah. Paul the Mayor said, tuck the junk.
Yeah. No, somebody's going to steal it, right? I reckon we got to tuck the junk.
If you want to get over the bar and win the pole vaulting.
Yeah, Voted to it.
Imagine that.
I think you got to.
How ironic is that? A pole caused the guy to lose the pole vaulting. That's kind of weird, right? Anyway,
Go down in history.
now fire services update. Okay, this report everybody in Niagara Falls should read, and I give kudos to Jason Burgess, the CAO, for doing this, for bringing this out, because I've been saying this for 8 years since I started this show 8 years ago, when we first started, about the firefighters and what's needed to get them back into the realm of reality with their $30 million budget. And when you read this report, if you don't understand, they are taking us to the cleaners. And this isn't about their job. The firefighters, I don't want their job. I don't want to run into burning buildings. I don't want to go over the gorge and rescue people. But there is a time when every municipality, and this is all across Ontario, this is happening, have to question this budget and get it out of the religious realm and back into the reality of business and how much taxpayers can afford to spend.
Yeah, there's the fire department budget is growing. It already takes about 1/4 or something like that, or
yes. Yeah. It's about 40. I think
more than that.
47% or so.
Yeah, it eats up more. And when every other department is asked to cut back so they could supply the fire department, that means there's less. All the other departments get less. They're all asked to cut back, but not the fire department. So there's got to be a real cool reckoning on what is being paid out, because there is compensation at different levels in the fire department that is way too generous. So the report says. Well, and unsustainable, which is more important.
Right. And the day of reckoning is coming. These numbers shocked me. They work 24-hour shifts. They work 91 days a year. And with their personal time off and everything, they work 71 days per year. 71 days is 2.5 months. They work in a year.
Another big problem is sick days. Unfortunately, with sick days, and if you've noticed anybody, none of my contracts ever had sick days in it. But anyone who does have sick days are incentivized to use them or lose them.
Right.
So you get 2 weeks of sick days every year, and people take the 2 weeks. Something like the Bridge Commission, the Customs people, they can accumulate theirs, so they can take their last year or something off on sick time
with full pay.
That kind of thing has to stop. Sick pay is a very important thing, and it has to be continuous. If you get sick, and if you have cancer or something, and you're going to be sick for 3 years or even a year before you get better, then that should be paid. But it can't be paid if everybody takes their sick days. The whole idea of sick days is to take them when you need them. So if you need a day, maybe 2, whatever, you're a little under the weather, sure, take one. But people who take all their sick days, it's wrong. Because the whole idea of it was to make up a system where if somebody gets really sick for a very long time, then they can go away for a very long time. And that's predicated on the fact that nobody else does, only when they're sick.
And financially for the city, it means they have to have a reserve to be able to pay this out. Because if people work all the time, they don't take sick days, and they can accumulate them at the end of their term when they retire. They might get, like Dave said, a year's wage. And that could be $100,000, $200,000. You have all these people working for the city, for the firefighters. They have to have a reserve fund of over $4 million just to take into account that liability down the road. And for other stuff, it's like $11 million. Well, you got to read this report. And Jason Burgess did a tremendous job. And I got to print this report off, and I'm going to keep it because it's so good. And it really does say what's going on. And it's a lot to talk about right now. But at the end of the day, I'm going to print this off, and we're going to talk about it again, whether me and you or me and Dictor or me and Chris Regis. We're going to all talk about it probably, because this is a big issue in Niagara Falls, and the reason why
throughout Ontario.
Yeah, throughout Ontario. And one of the reasons why our taxes is so high, this is a huge money maker. And my take on it years ago was, I looked at the number of fire calls, total calls in a year, and the number of them that were fire calls. And there was like 20 fire calls, over 2,000 calls. And most of them are emergency health, heart attacks, and that kind of thing.
Well, they definitely get there fastest.
But you need EMS. If you took half the firefighters and replaced them with EMS that you dispatch instead of having to send the fire department, then you would save about 50% on whatever we pay them, because you know what? They only make about half the wage that a firefighter would. So it could be millions of dollars you would save, and you would be addressing the issue, which is health emergencies, not fires.
Well, you're going to have a hard time because it's a religious experience for council. No, we can't cut the firefighters. They're wonderful. I mean, you remember Mike Strange when he went on, when they were only trying to cut $250,000 out of the budget for a more efficient system of communication. And like everybody was like beside themselves. They couldn't wait to fawn over the fire department. I think
exactly
the reality check has to come in here.
Yes.
And it is unsustainable. No matter how much you want to pay them, it's unsustainable. It's kind of like the teachers in a way. Yeah, you want to pay them as much as you can, but sometimes it's unsustainable because it comes out of the tax, bucket.
Yeah, well, agreed. The day of reckoning is coming, and nobody wanted to tackle it, but Jason Burgess did. And
I got complete because I got one of my uncles. My uncle, he had his he was in an explosion left by a criminal gang when he went to a fire. Got his ear blown off.
Mhm.
He was in the hospital. My cousin had a nasty fall a couple years ago. He almost died. It was all over the Toronto News, City News, and he almost didn't make it. He's pulled through since. So they do go through a lot.
Oh, I wouldn't want their job. I wouldn't want their job. I really don't. And I appreciate what they do. And of course, if your house catches fire, you're glad they're there.
I'd be okay if I was Elmer, the safety guy, right? Going around that. Doesn't seem to be too dangerous to me. But other than that, no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a tough one. And we saw how tough it is. Like you say, when they wanted to move dispatch to St. Catharines, save the city $250,000, and city council was no. 40 firefighters were in the audience, and they just, no way.
They all had halos on them. You know what I mean? Like you can tell. Right?
Yeah. And you can believe it, but read that report, and I guarantee you it will change your mind. Or maybe it won't.
It would have to, because otherwise the city is unsustainable. You're going to reduce the resources of every other department. So when you're phone finance, you might not be able to get somebody for a couple of days because they had to cut staff. In the meantime, the compensation for the firefighters throughout Ontario, this is not just Niagara Falls, throughout Ontario is a little bit too rich. It's cutting too deeply into the budgets of the cities and regions. And that's not to denigrate the firefighters. I've had relatives that are on the fire department and have been injured, near-death experiences. So,
oh yeah, I agree. It's a tough one. It's a very tough one, but this is a great report for everybody to read. Now, did we miss one in this eight all these eights?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think we did.
Okay, let me go back to 8.
I don't think we missed anything. If anything, we missed this housing. Council received the Q2 Development and Housing Status Report. I don't know if we talked about 812. I do have it in my notes, I think. 8.4, 8.12. Let's see.
My 812 is Arts and Culture Wall of Fame inductees.
We did talk about the housing, so we're okay there. We're okay.
Development of Housing Report, Provincial Reporting.
Yep, I think we got it all now. So we're moving on to the consent agenda. And a set of reports that could be approved in one motion to council. Throatstone Road, QEW, Water Main Crossing Assessment.
I read about that, yeah.
Yeah, request for capital budget. They approved a capital budget amendment. Whoops.
How about that?
Of about from 20,000 to 316,000.
Another 16,000 out of petty cash.
There's from 20,000 to 316,000 31,000. So that's another 11,000. Yeah, for the water main assessment on Thoroldstone Road. You know, I didn't really read about this. I don't think too much.
There's a problem there. There's
You have to
there's
tune me
sewers,
in.
there's water service underneath the highway, and they don't know if they need it or not need it. They debate the fact that they have to keep flushing it and cleaning it. You're not getting good water through there. So they're thinking maybe they don't really need it. They're going to shut it down. However, in the future, that will limit their ability to service anything west of the highway.
Ah, okay.
So they're in a bit of a quandary there. So they're going to need consultation and more money to figure out what they're going to do. So I imagine what they're going to do is probably they're going to have to reinvent it or fix it or whatever to figure out what's wrong with it. Because on that side of the highway, it's only going to grow.
Okay.
So
they want council to approve the extra money to be able to do this assessment. Okay, well, they're going to say yes to that.
Mm-hmm.
Budget amendment, municipal service center employee parking lot. That's another $20,000. They're going to go from 25,000 to 45,000. So they're looking for a capital budget amendment. I told you, folks, man, there's money. They find it everywhere. They're going to approve that.
It's you got a lot of that in the couches at City Hall. Just stick your fingers in.
Yeah, they got a money
couple
tree.
of thousand out there.
They got a money tree at the Wayne Thompson Center. We go Blue Line stop maintenance responsibilities. Well, we know the Parks Commission took over the Blue Line when they sent the transit over to the region, and they do have bus shelters and shelters along the way for the Blue Line. So City Council is going to approve the maintenance of these things pertaining to bus stop locations. So now the Parks Commission is running it. Why City Council has to pay this money, I don't know.
Well, probably because the parks don't have enough, and it's essential to our town.
Okay.
So that I think is probably.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna pick up the tab on that one. They didn't actually.
Don't ask me anymore. How much?
Yeah, they didn't have to take any money out of any of the budgets. I think they already planned for it when they handed it over. So they're just getting the approval of the maintenance responsibilities. University of Niagara Falls. It's asked that it be received for information, and Lori Lococo brought that up about the people coming in and all this other stuff, and they want to know about housing and that, and that's a big rigmarole. You can take a look at it if you want. It talks about health cost, housing, answer some of the questions council had. Not really much there other than the spin, which is very hard to check on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that how are you going to check on? There's a motel with all kinds of stuff.
There's rules and regulations for students. They have to be self-sustaining. They have to be able to afford for themselves and their family, all those things. But when Lori Lococo starts talking about Project Share and Salvation Army and places like this, that tells me that she's not too confident that these people coming in are going to be well taken care of.
Exactly. And that's why she made that motion, right? Yeah. Bylaw amendment at Allendale Avenue, south of Main Street. Now, this was already a proposed 20-story building. We know that. That's right up by, up on by Murray Street there, that little plot they're going to build an apartment on. Well, they want to have balconies or something now. They've made some
extended balconies and less amenity space.
Yeah, I think they said something about green space too. And basically, they're asking just for minor variances to be able to build it the way they'd like to, and they got them. They're going to get them, so they need.
How many affordable units in there?
0.
Yeah, probably.
That's an easy. I can answer that one, Davey. I can answer that one.
You're 0. Smart. You're my smart friend.
Sports Wall of Fame inductees. Council approved the following inductees: Shelley Gauthier, athlete, paracycling, automatic induction; Poppy Gilliam, athlete, soccer; Tim Topping, baseball builder, automatic induction; 1981 Niagara Falls Kiwanis Club U-13 boys soccer team; and the 2001 and 2 Niagara Falls Thunder midget AAA hockey team. They're all going to be inducted. Congratulations to all of them. Now we go to the communications and comments of the city clerk. And basically, they run through these pretty fast. Proclamation request, Christian Heritage Month. Yes, they're going to say, okay. Lighting of City Hall for the wrongful conviction day. I've been convicted wrongfully many times by Liz of
there
doing
you
a lot of
go.
stuff.
Yeah, well,
It's
yeah,
my day.
Yeah,
It's
your
our day. All the men, bro. This is like men's day or
Yes,
so.
that's right. I have a backlog of that stuff.
So
When I was
anyway,
married.
they're going to designate that day to recognize all the people who got illegally arrested and got convicted, and they weren't guilty. But you know, when you go to prison, if you go through a prison and you ask everybody if they're guilty, they'll all say no. Funny thing about that,
Yeah, yeah.
nobody will say they are. Right?
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, there you go. So that's okay. Wrongful conviction day. The lighting of Niagara Falls City. I'll light up blue for prostate cancer. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's gonna go. Ice cream truck request, Fernwood Park. Yes, go ahead, have your ice cream. Why not? Come on, City Council. And a food truck request for Chippewa volunteer firefighters at their.
It's the same truck.
To do,
it's the same ice cream truck.
There you go.
Notice?
Yeah. Yeah, it's approved. It's approved. We want them to have ice cream in Chippewa. They got Creekside Dairies there. That's phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. But they want the food truck. Okay, slow pitch tournament. The Chippewa Volunteer Firefighters Association slow pitch tournament is going to have an ice cream truck. Way to go, City Council. Flag raising request. Does anybody have to ask me about this? You know what I say? No. N-O.
Oh,
I
what's
can't
this one?
say it
Brazil
loud.
Day or something? I can't remember. Was it India Day? Was it India?
India's Independence Day. No flag for that.
That's even not the right name for the country, anyways. It's made up one. So pretty soon they're going to change the name too.
And another flag request for Ukraine's Independence Day. No, sorry, Ukraine. No flag raisings. You know, Regional Council finally learned their lesson after this Palestinian thing, because they're not allowing any flags of any foreign countries to be lifted.
Finally,
for any reason.
Finally.
And they're not allowing.
But I'm kind of upset. The reason why it was the Palestinian flag, because Palestine is a nation. It is an area of people that live, and they're trying to establish their statehood, and so it took that one to upset enough people to cancel it. So I thought that's pretty bigoted, but I think they made the right move in the long run.
Yeah, cancel them all. Then you don't have to worry about bigoted racism. You don't have to worry about anything. Okay, letter of support, Township of Brundell. Now, this is an interesting one. 10.8 is letter in support of the government promptly resuming the assessment cycle from Township of Brundell. So people will see that. I don't think they'll get what that means. Just to let you know, this is my interpretation of that. Brundell and these other smaller communities of 5,000 people or whatever they are, 1,500 strong, they want this government to bring back market value assessment. Now, the last one that was done was in 2016. There was supposed to be one done in 2020. Every 4 years, it was put off because of COVID. Now we're at 2024. There should be another one done. These guys want it done so they can pull in money for city coffers, because it's going to raise taxes, right? When your property assessment goes up, your taxes are probably going to go up. So they want to raise the money, and that's all right for 1,500. But you come to Niagara Falls, where houses went from 150,000 to 600,000.
Yeah, in a matter of weeks, it seemed.
I don't know if City Council is going to be too hot on bringing market value assessment, although it is coming in. So it's a pay me now, pay me later. Eventually, you're going to get schnookered with it. But they want it right now before they get too schnookered, which is a great idea for 1,500 people. And prices are probably very low there, right? For real estate and housing. But you get to bigger centers like Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, Toronto, Hamilton, and that. This could be a major hit.
Well, this is a letter to resume.
Resume
it. And we should have a letter to not resume the snookering.
No, we don't want it. Please, we don't want. I'm gonna watch.
No snooker.
They're looking for support, but I got to see what City Council has to say about this. I could have it wrong, so we'll see what City Council says. But I believe this is what this is all about, and it doesn't bode well for your pocketbook. All these other ones receive for information from these other ones.
From
Receive and filed.
Scriber. Wow,
Yeah,
that's a town way up there, man.
Yeah, receive and filed.
Goderich.
Dechlorination of effluent discharge. They chlorinate it to go to your house, and then when they have the discharge, they want to chlorinate that too, but they're going to stop that. Municipal of St. Charles, phase out water well testing. So they used to come and test your water well. They're not going to do that anymore. It's up to you, but you can get water well testing kits for free if you want to test your own water. So it's probably about cost and that. So phasing it out. Correspondence to Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority, blah, 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 Watershed National Assets Analysis and Analysis Evaluation. That's going to be your read it if you want, receive and file. Oh, we're getting through this. Holy crap, there's so many pages. They want to rename Kitchener Street Park to Japino's Family and Community Park. By all means, do it. Man, Japino's is a mainstay in this city. Their family has been there for years. Everybody went to Japino's except Dave Wheeler because he's looking at amazement.
No, I went there. I went there often. I love the place.
There you go.
I knew Eats and
his
brother and his sister.
I love this.
Or his brother's, his Eats' sister-in-law.
Yeah, Rosa and Joey.
They had the best sausage.
Oh, they had phenomenal food. You just go there. They were a mainstay.
Yeah, but I don't know about Kitchener. What about the street they're on?
Well, they're on that corner of Kitchener Street and what the hell is that name? It's not Ellis.
Right across the street from the parking lot of the old arena.
Yeah, they're right across, and there's a little park there, and they want to name it after Japino.
The park?
Yeah, the little park.
Easily.
Yeah.
I think they had a big picture of Eats there too.
Yeah, Japino's Family and Community Park. They're a great family. Morris Villela was a very good friend of mine. From the grade 8 group that requested that it be changed. And I like it. I hope they say yes to it. And City Council realizes who Japino is. I hope they change it. Congratulations,
that store
Morris.
Was so clean. And, I used to buy, and I used to get this triple mix. They had triple mix with beef and veal and something else, I forget. And they made that, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I used to go there all the time and get it.
Great stuff. Night of Arts, noise bylaw exemption for the Night of Arts, yes. Yep, the Night of Art at the liquor license and this and that. So they're going to get it. Niagara Falls Night of Art at the Exchange, I think it is. Yeah, so they're going to do that, give them that. I think it's at the Exchange. Yeah, at the Exchange. Okay, for that.
Yep.
Bylaw extension, Heaters Heroes, of course. Yes, that's going to be okayed. Noise bylaw extension for Harriman Street. They're having a wedding. They want the extension to 11 o'clock at night. Yes, that'll be granted. Special occasion permit, Havana Restaurant and Cocktail Lounge. They're having a big do out here, so they're going to have a special occasion permit. They deem it municipally significant. So they're having a big party out here on Queen Street, I guess.
Oh, well, hope I'm in town.
Yeah, that'll be good. Salsa. And let's see. Resolutions that they're talking about the Allendale building we just talked about. Ratification of in-camera. Notice of motion and new business. We'll see what they bring up on that. 16, infill development motions. That's the one where Lori LaCote will talk about infilling and about all the different rules. Sorry about hitting my microphone with the paper, everybody. Drainage issues. All the issues that everybody talks about when they're going to build a new build in their neighborhood. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants anything new in their neighborhood. They want it left alone. They're happy there.
It's NIMBY.
It's a NIMBY, exactly. And she's just naming all the different things that people talk about all the time here. She made a motion to recognize these concerns. And, that city investigate. They're going to investigate all these ways to mitigate the issues above, which is good. Everybody will put their hand up because that's the complaints all these councilors get from people when there's a new build. So they're going to investigate that. Niagara Falls University accommodation for students. Once again, that's another motion Lori brought because, like you said, she's concerned.
She must be because despite the assurances that the university has put forward, she's not buying it.
No, and I can understand why after having Mike Lucid in here talking about what's going on with that place. Okay, bylaws, all these bylaws to amend this, to amend that. They just talked about them. Now they're going to ratify them in the bylaws. And you can go through all of them. And they're all there. They're going to be okay. They're probably going to okay them on one thing unless somebody has, an objection to one point, but most of the time they've already been discussed and dealt with. These are just saying, yes, let's finalize it. And after that, we have the adjournment.
I think they can all agree on that one.
I think they'll all agree on that one by time 10 o'clock rolls around tonight, because this is a hell of an agenda. It's a long one, and yeah, they're going to be there for a while, especially when they're in camera meetings go for an hour and a half.
I hope they don't do the self-aggrandizing stuff where they stand up and say, "Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful project! I think it's good, and so does my aunt."
Yeah, like come on, just vote on it and let's get it over. Jimmy's got to control the meetings. That's all they can. But there's going to be a lot of grandstanding on a lot of these things. You watch.
Well, yeah, they got to get their name out. They get their face in the camera. You know, that's all part of it. So when Strange wanted the meetings to be shorter, well, that's what he has to tell everyone.
Well, you know,
sit down and shut up.
Well, that's a funny thing, though. He said that to look into ways to make the meeting shorter, but I haven't heard a word back about that.
No, either have I. And I don't think there's not much place you can. There are things that they have, like voting on all these communications things all at once, or something like that. And in fact, there is a proposal to vote on all communications and get that rid of, you know, in one fell swoop. But in the most of the time, is senseless gab.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they can really shorten the meetings, you know, by getting rid of all the awards and presentations.
Do that a different day.
Do it on a different day. Do it at the McBain Center or wherever it's going to happen, like the Night of Art, the awards, instead of in City Council. You know, you do it at the Exchange. All the awards for the sports teams at the beginning, the mayor does, do it on camera at the McBain Center. I mean, get it out of the City Council meeting. And even at that, because of planning matters, that they still might have to split it up into 2 days where they have planning matters for 3 or 4 hours and get through that, and then have a regular council meeting the next day. I think that's the only way. These 8 or 9 hour meetings do nobody any good. They don't do taxpayers any good. They get bored and tune out. And they don't do councilors any good. They get bored, and then they make bad decisions. It's got to be shortened to 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. And if it has to be over 2 days, then you're fresh for the next 4 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Gets to be a long time. Anyway, we got through it, Davey boy.
Did. One show.
One show. I was going to do the rest tomorrow, but then you can't get it up there for you to watch. So anyway, this will be on YouTube in a few hours here. I'll get it up on YouTube. My name is Paul K. Lemire. That was City Council Agenda Review with my good buddy Dave Wheeler in the studio to help me out. This is 4680Q, Your City, Your Voice, live every day at noon. And of course, on Wednesdays, there's no Your City, Your Voice. It's called Habsolutely, where we review the Habs and see what's going on with our beloved Habs. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Ciao, ciao. Have a great day, and tune into the City Council meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It starts Tuesday at 1 o'clock. It's not today.
Finishes at 12.
Yeah. It's a 12-hour extravaganza. They're going to be getting on the firefighter shifts pretty soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.